Vince Gill was never the loudest voice in the room, but somehow, his music always found a way to speak louder than words. For someone who's collected more than 20 Grammy Awards and landed over 20 #1 hits, his path wasn't paved with ease. It was marked by early pain, rejection, and choices that could have broken someone less determined. But through every challenge, Vince stayed true to what he knew best, his music. And that honesty in his voice is what kept him going, even when the odds weren't always in his favor. Born on April 12, 1957, in Norman, Oklahoma, Vince grew up in a household that was anything but ordinary. His father was a federal judge by day, but when evening rolled around, he became a passionate bluegrass musician, strumming the banjo or harmonica like he was born to do it. His mother also played the harmonica, and their living room often turned into a casual concert space, with spontaneous jam sessions that drifted out onto the street. Music was more than a hobby. It was part of the air Vince breathed growing up. But even in that joyful noise, life wasn't always easy. From a young age, Vince had to face something most kids wouldn't understand. He was born with crossed eyes and needed 2 painful surgeries to fix them. Even after the procedures, one eye would still wander whenever he was tired or upset. The teasing from classmates made him insecure, and he began wearing glasses, not just to see better, but to hide what he thought was a flaw. Instead of hanging out with kids, Vince found peace in his guitar. It became his shield, his escape, and eventually, his way forward. Tragedy also found its way into Vince's early years. When he was just 10, his older half-brother Bob was in a terrible car crash that caused permanent brain damage. Bob would need care for the rest of his life, and the emotional and financial stress tore at the family. That kind of pain doesn't just go away, it settles deep. And for Vince, it came out through his music. There was always something emotional in his songs, something that made people stop and really listen. It didn't take long for people to notice Vince's talent. When he was just 5, he visited his grandmother and picked up an old acoustic guitar. Within half an hour without any lessons, he had learned to play Old Shep. His grandmother was amazed and called his parents right away. By the time he was 10, they had bought him a high-quality electric guitar, even though it was a big financial stretch. They believed in him that much. He practiced for hours alone in the basement, turning every painful moment into melody. His music teacher noticed something rare in him, an emotional sound in his playing that didn't match his age. By high school, Vince had formed a bluegrass band called Mountain Smoke. They weren't just good, they were really good. In 1976, the band got a big break opening for Kiss in Oklahoma City. But things didn't go as planned. The rock fans didn't understand their sound. Some booed, others threw things. Vince, young and frustrated, flipped off the crowd and stormed off stage. That night could have crushed his confidence. But instead, it lit a fire in him. After the band broke up, Vince kept pushing. He moved to Kentucky and joined the Bluegrass Alliance, then Boone Creek, where he played with Ricky Skaggs. Their music started to catch on with a small but loyal following. Then he moved to Los Angeles in 1977 and joined Sundance, a band led by fiddle player Byron Berlin. Suddenly, Vince was performing in big venues and crossing paths with legends like Emmylou Harris. In 1978, something unexpected happened. Pure Prairie League, a band that had struggled to find a stable frontman, came calling again. Vince had turned them down 2 years earlier, but this time he said yes. His voice and skills gave the group new life. Their 1980 hit, Let Me Love You Tonight, was a radio favorite, and Vince became a face fans started to recognize. But just as things were picking up, the band's label folded. Without the backing of a major company, the momentum vanished. Vince left the band in 1982, unsure of what would come next. That same year, he married Janice Oliver from the country duo Sweethearts of the Rodeo. Their daughter Jennifer was born not long after. While balancing a new family, Vince tried to make it on his own. He turned down an offer to join Rodney Crowell's band, hoping to prove he could succeed as a solo artist. But when his solo plans stalled, he changed his mind and joined the Cherry Bombs in 1983. That decision ended up shaping his career in ways he never saw coming. Moving to Nashville that same year, Vince did whatever he could to make a living. He played backup guitar for Rosanne Cash and took small gigs just to stay afloat. Those years were tough. The spotlight seemed far away, and the responsibilities of fatherhood and marriage added pressure. But during those hard times, Vince sharpened his craft. He was learning, growing, and staying ready. Then came Tony Brown. A former bandmate turned record executive, Brown saw something in Vince that others didn't. Thanks to his support, Vince signed with RCA Records in 1984. His first solo EP brought some attention, and even earned him the top new male vocalist award from the Academy of Country Music. But even then, big commercial hits didn't come easily. His early albums struggled to climb the charts. By the late 80s, Vince was at a crossroads. He was talented, respected, but still waiting for that breakthrough. It finally arrived in 1989. Tony Brown, now working at MCA Records, gave Vince another chance. And this time, everything clicked. The album, When I Call Your Name, came out that year and changed everything. The title song soared to number 2 on the country charts. It wasn't just popular. It was powerful. The track won Single of the Year at the 1990 CMA Awards and helped Vince win his first Grammy. The album went platinum, something that was nearly unheard of for a mid-career artist with no prior blockbuster success. After that, Vince Gill wasn't just known, he was everywhere. From 1992 to 1994, he delivered hit after hit. Songs like I Still Believe in You, One More Last Chance, and Trying to Get Over You topped the charts. He wasn't just making music anymore. He was defining what country music sounded like in that era. His sound was a mix of old-school country and modern production, and it connected with people from all walks of life. Vince wasn't just a solo star either. His skills as a guitarist and harmony vocalist made him one of the most requested collaborators in Nashville. Reba McEntire, Bonnie Raitt, Emmylou Harris, they all wanted him on their records. His ability to blend into different styles without losing his own voice made him unique in an industry that often demands artists fit into boxes. By the late 90s, though, Vince's music began to reflect more personal struggles. His 1998 album, The Key, was raw and emotional, influenced heavily by the breakdown of his 17-year marriage. The songs were stripped back, more honest, less commercial. Critics praised the album, even if the sales didn't match his earlier records. For Vince, it was no longer about hits. It was about truth. Not long after, his personal life became front-page news again. In 2000, Vince married Christian singer Amy Grant. Both had divorced their previous spouses, and the timing raised eyebrows, especially among Amy's religious fanbase. Some radio stations pulled their songs. Protesters showed up at concerts. Vince, who had always kept a low profile, suddenly found himself in a storm of judgment. But through it all, he stayed calm and continued making music. He didn't let the noise change who he was. Even in later years, when health issues and the natural slowdown of aging came into play, Vince didn't step back. He kept performing, writing, and supporting other musicians. Younger artists often talk about how generous he is with his time and advice. His presence in Nashville remains strong, not just as a legend, but as a mentor. What makes Vince Gill stand out isn't just his voice, though that's unforgettable. It's the honesty in his songs. The way he never pretended to be something he wasn't. The way he turned personal pain into art without ever sounding bitter. He wasn't chasing trends. He was always just telling the truth, his truth. There are plenty of artists with hit songs. Plenty who win awards. But very few manage to touch people the way Vince has, year after year, decade after decade. His story is one of quiet strength, lasting talent, and resilience. It's proof that even when life throws everything at you, sticking to what you love, and doing it with heart, can lead to something truly lasting. If you found this story as inspiring as we think it is, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed for more powerful stories like this one. Vince Gill's life reminds us that behind every great song is often a story worth listening to. And sometimes, the most powerful voices come from those who simply refuse to quit.